Hi, and welcome to episode 10 of Literarily Dead.
Is it already episode 10?
It's already episode 10.
God damn it.
We've been going for I guess that's only 2.5 months, but...
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too.
That's
We're a
better
weekly
than-
podcast.
Wow. I guess that didn't dawn on me until right now.
We're doing really good.
I'd say so.
We're doing really fucking good. Alright, so this week we're doing...
Inspired by fiction.
There we go.
I'm
so
excited about this week.
You're so excited?
So excited.
I'm really excited to hear about what... I say this every single fucking week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That I say I'm excited for your topic. But I'm
'Cause you
literally
do.
excited for your week topic.
I've
For your
been
topic.
nerding out about this
Yeah.
for a little while. Dogs walking. So I was originally going to do a different topic.
Mm-hmm.
I decided on this one.
Okay.
And I started telling Henry about it. And he had really strong opinions.
Really? Oh, this is that thing?
This is that thing.
Okay,
He had
so...
really strong opinions on my topic.
Okay.
And not in the good way.
Okay.
And I have very strong opinions on my topic in a good way.
In a good way.
So,
Okay.
obviously an argument ensued, and he did not see my point, and I don't see his. So,
I guess we're gonna have a controversial topic on our hands?
I mean, it depends on how much you care.
Okay.
Okay, so my topic this week
Okay.
is the genre of fan fiction.
Oh, okay.
So he thinks that it's like really stupid, and that
You guys had a fucking argument about this?
well, it was more of a discussion than an
Oh,
argument.
okay. I was gonna say.
But it got really heated. So he thinks that it's stupid and that you're ripping off someone else's work, and that it's the epitome of non-creativity.
Well,
And I feel the exact opposite. I think that if you can create your own story with characters that already exist,
mm-hmm.
like you... The way I explain this to him is I think fan fiction is a way that writers get their start. I know it's how I got a start. Because instead of coming up with your own world and your own characters, you're using something that already existed and then making your own story with characters that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And that is a way that you can start with plot and settings and really dive into detail.
Yeah.
And then once you get comfortable with that, you can start making your own characters
Mm-hmm.
and your own world. So that's what I think fan fiction is good for. Henry just thinks it's a load of bullshit. And I didn't think there was going to be a lot on this topic,
Uh-huh.
but you'd be so surprised
Well, yeah.
about the amount of literature about fan fiction.
Yeah. I mean, it's been around for fucking forever. My mom was fucking... I don't think she ever wrote any, but when I started to, like, read fan fiction myself and to, like, get into a lot of heavy nerd culture was when I was younger, she would talk to me about how she read, like, Star Trek shit.
Yeah.
Like, way back when. Lemon Lime, don't read. All that good shit.
Right. So I just want to give a little background about where I started with fan fiction. So when I was a kid, in 6th grade, at that point I had already started a book series because I'm a major fucking nerd.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a book series. They're only about 24 pages long, so it's not like it was crazy. And my English teacher, had an assignment where we had a creative writing assignment every week.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I started with fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I was heavily obsessed, because for me, if I have a like, I get obsessed with it. So back then, my fandom of choice was on RSVU.
Oh, yeah.
At 6th grade. Putting that out there. So each week, I would give him a chapter from a fan fiction I was writing.
Oh.
And he didn't realize, I don't think he watched the show, so he didn't realize it was fan fiction. So he would just call them EO stories.
Uh-huh.
Because EO is the pairing I was doing.
Okay.
They were Elliot and Olivia. So that was the fandom's name for the relationship was EO. And then 7th and 8th grade when High School Musical and Disney Channel started becoming a thing. High School Musical is my shit. Cheetah Girls and Hannah Montana. Because obviously I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
So those 3 were the other stories I wrote. And I had a few popular ones in RSVU. So I know fanfiction gets a lot of shit, obviously from Henry. And
Number one enemy of fan fiction is
Number
your
one
fiance.
enemy.
Fiance.
Or just people that have the same mindset. Like, people get give fan fiction such shit. But like I said, I follow Tumblr. A lot of people I follow on Tumblr credit fan fiction as their groundwork for writing too.
Mm-hmm.
So for writers, it's a huge part of the evolution of writing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get interested in the origins of fan fiction.
And I mean, you're not talking to, I wrote a lot of fan fiction for a few things that I was in. Nothing that I'm going to name because I'm out of it now, and it's actually pretty touchy subjects, but, I wrote a lot of stuff. And it kind of, I guess I'll preface this before we get into it more on your part, but I think fan fiction is I think it's a valid writing writing genre. That's what I'm going for. A genre of writing. And I think it is a good groundwork. I found it as a way to get attention from myself. So I know not a lot of people do it for that reason, but a lot of people do it because they're very interested in what they're doing. But I also found it as a kind of hinderer for myself because I spent so much time writing that my art wasn't getting as much of a focus as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And I'm a very art-focused person, and I kind of ended up going more back into comics after I let go of my fan fiction roots because I didn't like just focusing on the writing.
Yeah.
I'm such a visual person that I couldn't do it.
And on the exact opposite, I can't even draw a stick figure. So for me, I was so heavily involved in writing so I was writing fan fiction a lot, and then I started writing my own book, which was inspired by, but was not specifically fan fiction of, Twilight, because, of course, I grew up during that time where it became huge, and it blew up.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when it was in the Scholastic catalog, before everyone knew what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
So I was like one of those beginners that was there before the hype.
Yeah.
And so for me, I loved that book, so I was like, I want to write a vampire book, but it went completely the opposite direction of what Twilight is. So for me, it totally helped my writing, and it was the first book I ever wrote. The only book I ever wrote. So, fan fiction is defined as a fiction about characters or settings from an original work of fiction created by fans of the work. And there are a lot of issues with fan fiction because of copyright law, and sometimes it depends on the attitude of the creator or the copyright holder.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases, they respond to these authors with legal action. The earliest use of the term dates to 1939 in a citation. It was used in a negative way in regards to, quote, amateur science fiction. So I was surprised how far back.
Amateur science fiction of what?
I don't even know. They were talking about the science fiction genre and how people are responding to it by writing their own stories.
Yeah.
I was surprised how far back this goes, but I saw one article or one essay, and it was stating that fan fiction goes back as far as people started writing.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's just the thing.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, so we have a long, long history. So I'm just going to focus kind of on the modern stuff, though. So like you said, fan fiction is directly linked to, well, you didn't say this part. Fan fiction is directly linked to fandom, but the term fandom was popularized in the 1960s following the growing fandom of Star Trek.
Yeah.
So like you were saying. While the fandom was mostly composed of males during the 1960s, the fan fiction authors were dominated by women.
Yeah.
Today, fan fiction has exploded because of the internet, and some sources claim that third of the content about books on the internet is actually fan fiction.
Oh.
So the term fan fiction did not exist before the earliest 20th century. So that first citation is 1939. But it did exist in medium. Some scholars argue that the greatest literature of all time are actually works of fan fiction.
Oh.
This includes the work of Homer, who has based his work on the oral traditions, though there was no canon to follow. He made it his own.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare's plays were, quote, sourced from earlier forms of literature, including the writings of Plutarch and Herodotus.
Oh, yeah.
And the book, which is considered the first Western fiction, Don Quixote?
Don Quixote?
Yeah. It had an unauthorized sequel published before the author even published his ending.
Oh my god.
And was written under a pseudonym, much like today's usernames.
Wow.
Yeah. So to go hand in hand with fan fiction, we have to consider the medium called fanzines, which your mom was talking about too.
Mm-hmm.
These magazines are fandom-led and became popularized again with Star Trek.
Star Trek started a lot of shit.
It really did. However, they existed decades before the early 20th century, starting with H.P. Lovecraft's fanzine called United Amateur.
Oh my god, yeah. H.P. Lovecraft was another huge player, because a lot of people, and it still exists today, because I, at one of the conventions that I went to not a year ago, 2 years ago, I actually went to a panel on H.P. Lovecraft, and the guy who ran it was a science fiction author, and he's like, yeah, no, we borrow from it all the time. So a lot of science fiction today, especially if it contains Lovecraftian, like, additions, can be considered fan fiction, because it's set in that time frame. And I've actually, I guess I could say that I've continued that thing too, because I have stuffed a few Lovecraftian efforts into my own stories.
That's awesome. And we have to give more credit to the Star Trek fandom.
Okay.
And their work and development of the genre. And the Star Trek fandom actually is the first time that we see a crossover. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know what crossovers are, they are comprised of two or more fandoms or shows, books, movies, etc. that cross over into each other's timeline. Mm-hmm. So the Star Trek fandom started this. And guess, this just made me really happy when I saw it, because I was like, yes.
What?
So the first crossover is Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Oh.
And it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is the first citation of crossovers, is with the Star Trek fandom and the Doctor Who fandom. And the Star Trek fandom also created terms that we still use today, like slash and femslash. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who also don't know, slash is a term that they use for gay couples. Mm-hmm. So the first gay couple in fan fiction writing was Kirk and Spock.
Yeah.
So it was a K/S. And then femslash is the lesbian version of slash.
And I feel like I should preface this because I was speaking with my mom earlier today, but not everybody likes Spock. Not everybody likes Spock.
Yeah, that's very true in a lot of fandoms.
Yeah.
You have that unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the Kirk and Spock slash actually created a rift in the fandom.
Oh, really?
Because not everyone agreed with it. Uh-huh. It's kind of similar to today's Supernatural fandom. Oh. Those who ship Destiel, Dean and Castiel, and those who don't. Like, I don't ship them, so I'm, like, on that odd side out. But whatever. And it's mostly because I shipped you myself, so there's...
Oh my god.
Doesn't even matter. Not even gonna go there. But today's modern fan fiction, so we have the 1960s, 1970s with Star Trek, but what we really know today as fan fiction really originated in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, really?
So this is the internet fan fiction.
Oh, yeah, with fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own.
Yep. And this actually comes from the Harry Potter fandom.
Oh, that makes sense.
Of course, the Potterheads. I love me my Potterheads. So, Harry Potter, if you go on fanfiction.net, is under the book community, has the most fan fictions at over 760,000 stories.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense because even if you don't, so Harry Potter creates a universe that, well, I guess I could say J.K. Rowling created a universe that you don't have to use the main characters.
Yeah.
And it creates this very open world society of, I can have a witch or wizard or anyone plunked in this world and have them react to the events or have before or after the events. And just have a normal story but set within these parameters.
Which I love.
Yeah.
So I will preface the fact that I have never read Harry Potter fanfiction. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm such a huge Potterhead. I've never read Supernatural fanfiction, Doctor Who fanfiction, or any other any other fandom I'm involved in. Mm-hmm. The only fanfiction I've ever read is Long Rose for You.
Oh my god!
And that's been 10 plus years since that happened. So I was gonna talk about. This is something I should have done research on, but I got busy at work. Mm-hmm. So there's a few different ways that fanfiction can be written, And it can either be written canonically, so you're taking the main story and the characters from the medium that you're talking about, or in AU, an alternate universe.
Oh, yeah.
So, AUs are the most popular fan fiction out there.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I follow on okay, I do read supernatural fan fiction, but it's not like chapters on chapters on chapters. It's just like maybe 500 words that come across my Tumblr dash.
Oh, yeah.
And those are almost always in alternate universes, and they're in hours, and it's like, Dean isn't a hunter, and he's just a mechanic, and this is what happens when he meets this pretty girl. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that.
Oh, my God.
Because real life Dean makes me happy. Fanfiction is really for fans, because most authors, and that includes myself, assume that their work is being written by other fans.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go through the whole backstory of, oh, this takes place between season 3 and season 4. I'm not going to give you a synopsis. You should know what season 3 and season 4, what happened.
Yeah.
And if you also look on fanfiction.net, the largest section is crossover stories.
Yeah.
Everyone loves their crossovers, and we love the AUs, and we love gay fiction. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's just what we like. So I just want to also, so I saw this Tumblr post, and that's what really got me thinking about this topic, and it was talking about how the English language has developed using fan fiction.
Yeah.
And there are certain terms that people will use speaking with someone that doesn't know fan fiction, and they'll look at you and be like, wait, that's not actually a thing people say, because it's so ingrained in fan fiction culture.
Yeah.
And you can actually date fan fictions by when these terms are used.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, when I was writing, people always used disclaimer, this work does not belong to me.
Yeah.
There was like a 5-year span that people did that.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't do that anymore, apparently.
No, we don't.
Or fire and flames, and don't do that. Lemon lime, I haven't heard of. That was before my time.
Yeah, that was my mom's time.
So, it's these phrases that people don't know unless they're in the culture.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I just want to get in some topics of mainstream and modern fan fiction. The most popular, of course, being 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Twilight fan fiction that blew up. And people that don't really know this, though, Wicked, the books and the musical, can be construed as fan fiction.
Oh, yeah, no, they're totally fan fiction.
Because it takes place in the world of Wizard of Oz before and after, and it's technically an alternate universe because she's not really wicked.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Well, I mean, did you ever read the book?
I didn't read the book, I just saw the musical.
Oh, man, I gotta give you the book. I have the book. But, yeah, that could totally be... That's totally fan fiction. And I mean... I wouldn't really I feel like it added on a lot of politics that weren't in the original.
Yeah.
So it could be an AU, it might not be an AU, but it's totally fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's totally published fan fiction.
And then someone also posted, was talking about fan fiction with their English professor, and he had such disdain in his face, like, that's not a real genre. And she looked at him and he's like, Paradise Lost. I've never read the book. Apparently it's a fan fiction on the book of Genesis.
Oh.
Dante's Inferno is technically a fan fiction.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fan fiction too.
It's a self-insert fan fiction based on Catholic doctrine.
Yeah.
So it's completely fan fiction. So some of the most revered works in literature are fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And one modern day one that I totally did not even know existed. Because everyone loves Queen Bey, apparently. I'm not a big Beyonce fan. But there is a Twitter handle called @BeyonceFanfic.
Mm-hmm.
And there are however many words, 90 words?
No, it's 140? 140.
So it's 140 words. Fan fictions about Beyonce.
Yeah.
Okay, I just pulled a few of them. Beyonce wakes up early to find that it's still dark outside. This being the third time that she has woken up before the sun is fired. Beyonce is babysitting Northwest, who is sloppily drawing a cow. She hangs it next to Blue Ivy's 25-page feminist manifesto on her fridge.
Oh my god.
And the last one I found was Beyonce sees a dress in black, blue, white, gold, and the fifth color that only Beyonce can see. I don't even know. But okay, I'm gonna allow it. And then I have some other really fun facts about fanfiction.
Mm-hmm.
So some believe that the first fandom was actually the Sherlock Holmes fandom because we are the fandom that never dies.
Oh, yeah.
We are the fandom that waited.
Oh, my
We
God.
are just the fandom.
Oh, my God.
And this originated originally with the stories by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the following was so large and influenced so heavily on the stories that when Doyle killed off Sherlock Holmes, there were actually protests in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
The fandom was called two things, or there were two branches. The first was the Sherlock Holmes Society, and the second was the Baker Street Irregulars.
Mm-hmm.
And they did, in fact, write fan fictions. In their fanzine called the Baker Street Journal, there are pieces of insert fiction, or Mary Sue fiction, which are one of the first iterations of insert fiction.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know what insert fiction is, it's when you insert yourself as the author into the fiction, and it's talking about yourself as a character meeting, in this case, Sherlock Holmes, and going on adventures with him.
Yeah.
I hate insert fic. Like, I get why you want to do it, but I hate it. I'm not even going to lie. I will not read insert fic. Okay, that's not true.
I was gonna say.
The supernatural fanfictions I read are insert fic, and it's Dean X Reader, or Sam X Reader, or Castiel, or whatever, and it says, when it comes to Dean saying your name, it literally says, insert name here.
That's so unimmersive.
Like, I love it when it's like 500 words. Whenever you're going on a full fucking adventure with them, and you're being a Mary Sue, I'm not okay with that.
So, I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to argue with you about the term Mary Sue.
Let's do it.
So, I really think that the term Mary Sue was created, I mean, I don't exactly know the history on it.
Oh, I really should do that someday.
Yeah, you should do the history on Mary Sue, but I really think that it was kind of put into motion to kind of stifle the female fans.
Oh, I can see that.
Because, especially in science fiction, a lot of men feel like it's their genre, even though it was started by a woman,
right?
Like
so
Mary Shelley. Like, what the fuck are you doing right now? But I'm pretty sure that the first iteration of Mary Sue was a satire on female fanfiction writers.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was published in a magazine, and I can't quite remember. And I will look this up later and hopefully put it on our podcast page. But it was a satire that showed up, and her name was actually Mary Sue. That's how we got the term Mary Sue, because that was...
I mean, I will totally agree with you. I saw this great post on Tumblr, because everything comes from Tumblr, and it was, what do you call a male Mary Sue?
It's Gary Stu.
Oh, no, the protagonist.
Oh! Oh my god, that's amazing. I was gonna say that next. I'm like, look at all the fucking male protagonists. We even have it today. It's like every single new AAA video game that comes out is gray, white, stubble, McGunface. So it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? And then people are like, and guys get so up in arms, especially cis, white, heterosexual guys, that they're like, I can't put myself in anybody else's shoes. It's like, bitch, we put ourselves in your shoes all the fucking time. So let us live.
Calm the fuck down. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I said that to Henry once. He did not like that. And I was like, well, it's fucking true, and you cannot argue with me about it, because I'll argue to the death with you. And he didn't want to argue with me that day.
Yeah,
so
no.
He let me have it.
Holy shit.
So, and then in the beginning I was talking about the disdain for fanfiction and the legal lawsuits and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So Anne Rice, who's the author of
Oh yeah, I was
Vampire,
hoping you were going to get to this, because she is such a huge player in this.
So she wrote a letter to her fans stating, quote, I do not allow fanfiction. The characters are copyrighted. It upsets me terribly to even think about fanfiction with my characters. It is absolutely essential that you respect my wishes. And after that letter, she demanded that fanfiction.net remove all fanfiction stories. Like, this woman does not like it. She's, like, on the Henry side of this debate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's crazy. Like, I get that they're your characters, but no one is benefiting.
She actually sued several people.
Yeah, she did.
I have a feeling she's okay with it now. But...
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I followed her for a while on I had a big interview with a vampire stint after I watched the movie for a while, because the movie just fucking excites me in the weirdest ways. Because it's just like, oh, I'm so emo. I'm a vampire now. I'm so sad. Look at me. And I'm just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever created, because I just fucking make fun. Tom Cruise. The entire time.
I've still never seen that
Oh,
movie.
Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt plays Louis. Oh my god, we gotta watch it. Huh?
I thought it was Tom Cruise.
No, Tom Cruise plays Lestat.
Oh, they were in a movie together?
Yeah, they were in a movie together, and they
damn.
don't look like themselves because they're vampires. But,
We're gonna have to watch that one day and make fun of them.
oh god, please do. I've seen it so many times, but I want to watch it again.
Let's do that.
But, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure she's okay with it now. But, yeah, she had a huge shit fit about it.
And then we have, on the other hand, my queen bee, who is J.K. Rowling. So she admires and encourages fan fiction, so long as the author does not try to make money off of it, and as long as the story does not include pornography or racism. Well, tough shit for her, because a huge vein of the Harry Potter fandom and fan fiction is all porn. It's like, you know that card on Cards Against Humanity, Harry Potter erotica?
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. It's fan fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would say probably 80% of Harry Potter fiction is all erotica.
Because, I mean, people want to bang characters.
Right, and it's all, and a lot of it is slash, which I was really surprised by.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's almost all slash.
Internet people love their
And femme
gays.
slash, and we really do love our gays.
I love my gays. I'm gay, so I can say that, I guess. I think. Right? I don't know.
I think so. So, the fan fiction group, like I said, has the largest amount of stories with 760,000 stories. I think the next one is Twilight with about 200,000.
Okay.
So we have 560,000 more stories right now at Harry Potter than Twilight, and I think that's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god.
Because I fucking hate Twilight now.
I'm pretty sure everybody's gone through that phase,
I actually hate it. I have come to the acceptance stage of my hatred. One fan actually did try to publish his fan fiction. It was about James Potter and his adventures. It was a children's book, an illustrated children's book, and J.K. Rowling put a lawsuit against him.
Oh, no. Well, I guess, yeah.
But she did allow the publication to go through after there was a lot of public backlash on her. And ever since then, I think you'll still find this with Harry Potter fics. They will still disclaim that they do not own the rights to their work. That's all J.K. Rowling.
Good.
Because they want to make sure that there's no more lawsuits against them.
Yeah.
I could literally talk for hours about fan fiction. People are actually writing theses and dissertations on the genre and trying to solidify it as an actual genre of literature. So this could literally go on forever.
Yeah.
And people have a lot of their opinions. They're quite strong opinions.
Yeah.
And that is my segment on fan fiction, and that was so much fun!
Yay!
Alright, I'm done now. You can shut me up.
Hey!
What?
So I'm Googling right now because my notes today are my thesis.
Yay!
So I just went to, if you Google RIP thesis, dark tourism, my thesis is the first one that shows up.
Hey!
So, for my senior year in college, for museum studies, I decided to go with a dark tourism. That's what I studied. I love dark tourism. Dark tourism is my shit. I will never not be interested in reading about it and regulating it and to give my opinion upon it.
That's the only thing that matters.
It's the only thing that matters. So basically, this week, since we are inspired by fiction, I decided there's so many things that I could have gone with, and unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time or a lot of energy to devote to this topic this week.
You had to save your spoons.
I had to save my spoons. So I decided to go with how the public perceives fictional stories about historical sites.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So this is a good part of my thesis, actually. And I wanted to focus on one spot in particular, because there's a lot of places that have a lot of historical fiction about them, and a lot of historical fiction does distort a lot of topics and a lot of facts about the place. Like, any place that has a ghost tour, any place that seems to be haunted, always has misconstrued history and misconstrued facts. So in my thesis, I decided to do 3 places. I did Alcatraz, I did the Lizzie Borden house, and finally I did Sloss Furnaces. And Sloss is what I want to talk about today.
Okay.
Because as I was, during my thesis, I interviewed the historians for each of these places, or the owners, or park rangers, things like that. And the historian for Sloss Furnaces absolutely abhors all of the haunted and dark, like, tourism surrounding Sloss Furnaces.
Oh, wow. I really didn't read your thesis, so I have no idea about any of this.
Oh my god, girl.
I'm
I mean,
not
I
even
didn't
gonna
read
lie.
your thesis either, so I guess we're even.
Okay, that's fine.
So Sloss Furnaces is a iron manufacturer, iron pour furnace down in Birmingham, Alabama. And it was opened in 1881 by James Whizzer Sloss as the Sloss Furnace Company. It's this big, huge place, and it was it produced iron and metal and a lot of other things up until 1971, when plastic came into huge fruition and people started using it much more.
Right.
It was granted National Historic Landmark status in 1981, and in 1983 it was opened as an industrial museum and landmark. So for a good 24 years it's been open as a museum. And the current historian, Karen Utz, is the person who does a lot of the history and a lot of the pamphlets and a lot of the things for this.
Okay.
But, so Sloss Furnace, you can come at this place at 3 ways. You can come at it knowing nothing at all.
Right.
You can come at it knowing that it's an industrial pour. And you can come at it knowing it's haunted. Because Sloss Furnaces was one of the huge things that set off my thesis.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I know you've heard the story already, but they haven't.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So Sloss Furnaces, I took a public history course my sophomore year of college.
With Nystrom?
With Nystrom.
Oh, Nystrom.
I think that was the class we took together.
Did we?
I think we took it together. That was the first time I saw Melissa.
Public
But-
history?
Public history.
Oh, yeah, we were in it together.
Yeah. See, we've known each other for a while, but we didn't really know each other for the first year. But, we had a textbook that covered Sloss Furnace for a few pages. And they kept talking about how, the public history was covered and yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting here reading this chapter, because this was the only class I actually read in, let's be real.
It's the only class I did read in. Sorry, Eric.
Oh my god. But, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, isn't this haunted place? Like, they weren't mentioning it all, and I'm like, I can't help but, like, forget or, like, think that this was haunted. Because when I was a kid, I watched so many fucking ghost shows.
Oh, girl, me
13
too.
Nights of Halloween, I was all about that shit. Most
Yup.
haunted places on Earth, things like that. When I was 11, I would sit up until, like, 9 p.m. Like,
Oh, we got a
sitting
badass
there-
over here.
sitting here watching in the dark, like, people go through these haunted places, gonna get a shit scared out of them, and I'm just like, this is the most scary thing I've ever seen, and it was so fascinating, though. I kept watching. But they had done an episode over Sloss Furnaces, and I had actually, after I finished reading, I had to look it up, and I'm like, this is a haunted place. This is haunted. Why didn't they say anything about it being haunted in this public history textbook? And I brought it up with Eric Nystrom, the teacher of the class, and he was like, that's really interesting, and I'd never really considered that point, and he's never heard anything about it either. So this kind of set me on this, like, track of dark tourism, and he kind of told me, like, this is what it is, and this is what you can look at. So he kind of sparked it for me. But, so that kind of, again, that sparked the thesis later on, and going into it, I approached Karen Utz for an interview with this kind of basis, and she's like, no, we're not known for this. We don't want to be known for this. We don't want dark tourism, because it is an industrial pour, an industrial historical site, first and foremost, and that's what they want to be known for. So where did this haunted history come from? Where did this whole, like, there's so many deaths in this iron industry, like, plant? Like, where did this come from? Who is perpetuating these myths of its darkness? And so I found out through an interview with her that they rent out the facilities for weddings and other things, because it is a very beautiful site. But from September to October, they rent it out to a kind of like circus theatrical troupe. And they put on a haunted house.
Oh.
And that's where so much of this controversial darkness comes from, because they take the few deaths that actually happened and they misconstrue them into this whole slew of like slaughter at Sloss Furnace. And it's
really,
yeah, and she hates it. Karen Oots absolutely abhors it. And I don't blame her at all, because if I was a museum director and everybody just kept asking about, well, who died here? Like, where's the ghosts? Like, I don't want to fucking do that. If I'm at a place like Lizzie Borden House, like, sure, okay, that's something that I'm glad to talk about. But if it's not anything to do with the ghosts or, like, death, I don't want to have that being brought in and made a major focus, because one, it's not really ethical, and two, there's more important things to talk about, like, especially with Sloss Furnaces, a lot of prison workers were bussed in to work, and a lot of the workers were black, and a lot of people were like, this is a continuation of slavery, because of the conditions were so bad sometimes. I feel like, especially in areas like this, the fiction that is brought to life by dark tourism is very much, it takes away from the actual history.
Right.
And, but it makes this roundabout way where people think it's real history, so it's inspired by fiction.
So, it's not haunted at all?
It is haunted. It is haunted. There is...
Okay.
There's like one or two ghosts, and they are having, they used to have a actual historical ghost tour.
Okay.
Run by the actual museum, but they stopped it for a while, and then this theater troupe stepped in with their haunted house, and when so you're gonna like this one. So Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
When the popular ghost TV show, when they actually
and my husband
and your husband Zach Bagans, if you're listening to this, you should hire her for your museum.
And I promise I will be creepy and marry you.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Can you just cut it?
No, it's staying in there. I'm gonna embarrass you now. But yeah, no, when they came to Sloss Furnace to investigate for ghosts, they actually talked to mainly circus people.
Oh.
Yeah, they talked to the performers about the experiences that they had there and about the history of the place. So they didn't have the facts. They had this, like, fictional, perpetuated myth about Sloss Furnaces.
Oh my god.
Right? That was one of the biggest things.
That literally makes me question every episode they've ever done.
Oh yeah, no, it made me question a lot of it afterwards too. And it's fucking crazy. It's so crazy to me. She was the last interview that I had done for my thesis, and it was just a huge eye-opener. Because I had gone from Lizzie Borden, which is okay with the mythical, and not the mythical, but the ghost stories, because that's kind of what you're there for.
Right.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, she murdered her family. I'll talk about this in a later episode, most likely. We're not going to get away with 100 episodes without me talking about Lizzie Borden.
That's actually true.
But, and then I had Alcatraz, which was like, it had a little bit of this stuff, but the guy I talked to there was a former park ranger, and he's like, yeah, no, we don't really see a lot of ghosts, and there's people there 24/7. So people can, like, believe that sort of stuff, but it's not there. It's not there at all. And then, and media really, really perpetuates that, especially with Alcatraz.
I'm sure.
Because there's so much stuff with Alcatraz. Like, even historical stories about Alcatraz that's in the media didn't really happen that way. And there's a lot of clearing up that a lot of park rangers and a lot of tour guides have to do. So...
Oh, I feel that.
Yeah. So, going from that, and then Sloss Furnaces, I talked with her, and she's just like, I hate it. I don't want it around me. I don't want it around my museum. So it was just a very, very, like, stark contrast from the beginning to the end of my thesis.
That's great, though, that you had 3 completely different point of views.
Yeah.
For this topic. That's awesome.
It was really good.
That's so cool.
It was so good. And I mean, this is basically par for the course for any place that is tinged with a bit of darkness and a bit of death. Because people are going to come in and they're going to want to know, like, is is there a ghost? Like, how did the death happen? How did the tragedy happen? I want to know the gritty, gory details, because everybody likes to see a train wreck, but nobody wants to be involved.
Right, and I think it's a lot with historic houses, too, because I get that question so much at work.
Oh, really?
Everyone, I probably get it at least once a week.
Uh-huh.
Is Susan B. Anthony's house haunted? Is she here? And I'm literally sitting here like, no. Yes, Lucy and Mary and Susan all died in that house, but nothing is there. We have cameras on 24/7. I don't get a feeling anytime, anywhere, unless I'm telling about her story in her bedroom and I start crying. But that's fine. That's what happens. But no, for the record, Susan B. Anthony's house is not haunted.
Yeah.
Don't ask us that.
Just leave it to yourself.
We just don't like it. We don't like answering that question.
I know. It's such a touchy subject, and it's just like, I just don't want to go into it.
Just like, no.
But yeah, so I think I'm actually going to leave my part there, since we went over with yours, but,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm
Yours
actually
was really
not
interesting. Yeah, you're not sorry. What the fuck are you saying?
It was such a fun topic.
There you go. It was fun.
So fun.
But yeah, if you want to know more about my topic, read my thesis.
Get her those downloads.
Give me those downloads. Yeah, I fucking love.
Wanna know how many downloads I've had? 4.
4?
Guess what? They're all from my mother.
Oh, thanks, Mrs. Packard.
No, I actually have one from Arizona.
You have one for it. That's probably.
Oh, it's probably Eric.
It's
God
probably,
damn it.
One of our favorite professors in college was Professor Nystrom, and he went to Arizona after.
Oh my god, I never thought of that.
You never thought of that? It was probably Eric.
It was probably Eric.
Thank you, Professor Nystrom, for everything you've done for us.
Oh my god.
We've mentioned you quite a bit in this episode.
So now it's Nystrom and my mother. If you're interested in my thesis, give me those downloads. I think you can just look up Rare Book, R-A-T.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe? Let's look. Let's Google this together, shall we?
Okay.
So if everyone can get their computers out, go to google.com. Please don't open it in a new tab. And go to Rare Book, R-A-T. Okay, no. No. So I'm nowhere over there. So don't Google that.
Google Rare Book Packard RIT probably.
Or just Packard, like the computer. R-A-T. Okay, no, because that comes up with Hewlett Packard. If you want to look up Hypnurtsmachia Polophilia, R-A-T, you'll find it.
No spelling for that?
H-Y-P-E-R, no, hip, H-Y-P-N-E-R-O-T-O-M-A-C-I-A. R-A-T. Did I do it? Yeah.
There you are.
Reading readers, documenting reader response. Yeah, do that shit. And then look at all my great blog posts because I'm so cool. I'm just kidding, I'm really not.
Great. Anyway. So that was our little foray.
What's next week?
I don't know what next week is. You know what we should do next week?
What?
We should do, media based on history.
Media based on history?
Yeah, or whatever. We had it on our list, but it's media, and then we should do the switcheroo.
Oh, yeah!
So next week, I will be talking about literature.
And I'll be talking about dark tourism.
There we go.
We're
so
cool as shit.
We're really cool. So we're going to try and go for media based on historical events.
Fuck. I'm so screwed.
You're not screwed. There's so much shit based on dark tourism, historical events, or death. You could literally do the Lizzie Borden Chronicles and talk about how much of a shit show it is.
Oh my god, I hate that show.
Anyway, alright, so that's us for this week.
Alright, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
With media.
Bye!
Bye!